Why should you always give the emo kid in the hallway high fives? You can't leave them hanging. Why was 10 afraid? Because it's right in the middle of 9/11. My son came up to me and said, "Dad, I'm depressed." I pointed to the spare room and said, "Hang in there, son." How do you surprise a blind guy? You leave the plunger in the toilet. How is gender similar to the Twin Towers? There used to be two of them, and now it is a sensitive subject. I had a crush on my teacher, which made me really confused because I was homeschooled. If you got $1 million right now, what's the first cool thing you'd buy? Knock, knock. Who's there? Your dad, but my dad is dead. I know, just reminding you. My friend came out of the room with tears rolling down his face, and he said it's a boy. We never went back to Thailand after that. My girlfriend went to Tokyo, and she died in the tsunami. Since I was sad, my friend told me, "Don't worry, there's plenty more in the ocean." A policeman walks up to a van with two priests and says, "We're looking for two child molesters." The priests both look at each other for a moment and then say, "Okay, we'll do it." What do a short-sighted gynecologist and a puppy have in common? A wet nose. What do Christians and gays have in common? They both say, "Oh God," when they get on their knees. What do you call a 90-year-old black man? Antique farming tool. What do you call a blowjob from a girl with autism? A special head. What do you call a lesbian with braces? A box cutter. What do you get when you cross human DNA with goat DNA? You get kicked out of the petting zoo. What vegetable is good for memory? Cucumber, 'cause my uncle stuck it up my ass when I was 6, and I've never forgotten. What was the stupidest thing you genuinely believed and now find it ridiculous? What's another name for coming inside of a woman? Loading a dishwasher. What's the difference between a Catholic priest and a pimple? At least a pimple waits until you're a teenager before it comes on your face. What's the difference between an oral thermometer and a rectal thermometer? The taste. What's the difference between apples and orphans? The apples get picked. What's the difference between Batman and Black Panther? Batman Returns. What's the most down bad thing you've ever done? Share it in the comments and the best one gets a shout out. What's the worst thing to feel during a prostate exam? 2 hands on your shoulder. What has 2 legs and bleeds? Half a dog. What's the difference between a baby and a sweet potato? About 140 calories. My favorite childhood memory was building sand castles with my granddad until my mother took his ashes away. Sometimes I have sex with my dad in an elevator, and it's wrong on so many levels. What's the difference between my dick and cancer? My granddad didn't beat cancer. After my ex died, I couldn't shower alone for like 10 years, but I'm out of prison now. I bought my blind friend a cheese grater for his birthday. He said it was the most violent book he's ever read. How does a non-binary person kill people? They/them. I suggested to my wife that she looks sexier with her hair back, and apparently that's insensitive to say to someone during chemotherapy. I was at my boss's funeral, kneeling next to the coffin, when I got removed from the funeral, apparently whispering, "Who's thinking outside the box? Now Gary in a funeral isn't appropriate." My lesbian friends bought me a gold timepiece for my birthday. I think they got confused when I said I want to watch you. What's the difference between Neil Armstrong and Michael Jackson? Neil Armstrong walked on the moon, and Michael Jackson had sex with children. What's a pedophile favorite type of garden? A kindergarten. Have you heard of a reverse exorcism? It's when the devil tells the priest to get out of the child.